everyone, it's Shell from Scrap Secrets and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be making another shaker card. This one is a birthday card for Tara from Mayhem Crafty Cards. I'll make sure to leave her information in the description box below so that you guys can go over and check out her channel. For this card, we're going to be using Mama Elephant's Artist Matte die set, Kindred Stamps Blow Me Away stamp set, some Canson XL watercolor cardstock, and I showed you guys some foam sheets, and we're not going to end up using them. I'll talk about that in a minute. First thing I'm going to do to create this card is to stamp out the image from Blow Me Away, and I'm going to be stamping the image down on some Canson XL watercolor cardstock with the Catherine Pooler Midnight ink. I started out with that ink and it wasn't giving great results, so I actually am going to switch over to MFT's Extreme Black ink, which I'm really loving for images now that I've re-inked my pad, so that's probably what I'm going to be using in my videos from now on. We're going to color in the hair on the image, and I'm going to be using the Derwent Inktense watercolor pencils. I picked 3 shades of purple, and I'm doing what I'm calling color mixing, which is where I lay down the shades of color, I pick up some water on my paintbrush, and just kind of smudge or smear the colors together. It helps with creating different shades, and it also helps with laying down a lighter base color with some highlights in it. So while I'm not great at watercoloring, these are the techniques that work for me, so I would like to share them with you guys. So that's the first technique that works for me. The second one is to do this, and then on top of it, take what I'm calling the water brush to pencil tip method. I pick up a little bit of water on my paintbrush and then pick up the pencil and pick some color up from the tip of it, straight from the tip, and it gives a little bit more of a concentrated color, and then I can put specific colors in specific areas so that I can create lowlights and highlights and make sure that there's depth and dimension in whatever I'm coloring. So you're going to see me do that throughout this coloring process. I did cut out a lot of the coloring because it is very repetitive, but I just wanted to show you the hair because I used both of the techniques in this. So the reason that I chose purple for the hair is that Tara has purple hair now and it looks amazing on her. It is a darker purple, so I'm just kind of laying down the base of it right now, and I'll show you the end result where it's a lot darker, but it does have the depth and dimension, so it has some of the lighter color in there. So there you go, you can see the color that's very similar to the color that her hair is now. So while I watercolored a lot of the image off screen, I'm going to show you the finishing touches. I picked up a pink pencil and just put dots down for the little rosy cheeks, and then I'm going to take a white gel pen and put dots on her cheeks. I like doing this. I saw this from, I believe it was Nicole Spohr that does this with her animals and her people, and I just thought that it looked really cute, so I decided that I'm going to do that to my images too. I go back and I left this part in because I wanted to show you how you could pick up some of that color. Some of the black watercolor got outside of the lines, so what I did was pick up some fresh clean water, put it over that area, and then use a towel to sop up that color. So while it's not perfect in the end, it looks a lot better than the black color running outside of the lines. I was impatient and I colored over 2 areas next to each other that were both wet. So that was my fault. So now we're moving on to the frame, and this is the Mama Elephant Artist Matte frame. I cut it out 5 or 6 times from that pink cardstock, that 65-pound Recollections cardstock, and then glued it together with the Honeybee Bee Creative Glue. For the acetate, I am using a bag that I got from Sparkle Blends. I bought the entire release, so they put the bundle together. So this is the bag from it, and I'm cutting the bag so that I just get one layer that goes over the, that'll go in between the top layer and the base layers. Now you're going to see that I actually chose a different base layer in the top layer in a minute. I'm just lining it up, making sure that that acetate will cover the entire area that I need it to. And then we're going to use that Be Creative glue around the edges to seal it down. If you've been following me, you know I wasn't sure about this glue because I felt like it was not coming out a lot because due to my dexterity issues in my hands. However, that's not the case. It's really just meant to lay a very, very thin layer down. So the great part about it is your glue is not going to glob out and you're not going to waste the glue. I also want to say that I do like the MFT glue. However, it's half the size of the Honeybee one, and Honeybee is only about $1 more than the MFT one. So this one is definitely more economical. So now that I've sealed that down, I'm going to cut off the excess edges of this. And then we're going to use that Be Creative glue to glue the top layer down. So right now that's the top layer. Once I started putting the card together, I realized that I didn't like this purple and white animal print on it. And I actually cut out some black and white zebra pattern paper. Now that was scrapbook paper, so it was really thin. So it probably was good that this layer was underneath of it, but you'll see that in a minute. So I'm going to glue that down, and then we're going to turn it over and make sure that there's no glue seeping out anywhere so that it doesn't, so that the sparkle blends and the shaker pieces don't stick to it. And also I just wanted to make sure that everything was glued down and had a nice good seal. I'm making sure that I have enough height to make so that the shaker pieces can actually shake. I'm showing you the blends that went into this. So what I did was I dumped out some of the blend into the lid, picked out the pieces that I wanted, and threw it in that blue box there. And then I did that with all the different blends until I created my own. Now you can see that I cut out that one extra layer. You'll see this, the black and white zebra one. I'll put that on top of it, and then I'm done with the frame part of it, the top part of the frame. I actually really like the way that turned out, so much better than the purple and white zebra that was underneath of it. So before I put my sparkle blends in, I'm going to take a dryer sheet and just go over the acetate just to try to take away any of the static so that the pieces will move freely. That backing paper is a purple polka dot paper, and I know how old it is. It's about 7 years old. I've had it for about 7 years because I bought it when my little sister from my sorority was pregnant with her daughter. I made her a baby scrapbook, and her daughter is 7, I believe. So it's probably 7 or 8 years old. So it was time to use it. I used the Honeybee glue to glue it down, made sure all of the edges were secured down, and then I realized that one little star piece at the top wasn't moving. I probably could have added 1 or 2 more layers to the bottom of it. However, it was going in the mail, so I didn't want it to be that thick. So I decided it was fine, and if some of them stick, then that's what happens, but the majority of the pieces will shake. I'm also going to use that Honeybee Be Creative glue on the image, and I'm going to adhere it to the front of the card. I didn't use any foam tape on it because the layer, the frame top, isn't that much higher than the acetate, so it was fine. It would stick. So there you go. Now I'm creating the banner for the card, which is the sentiment, and the letters are from the Concord and Ninth Perfectly Penned stamp set. I'm using the MFT white pigment ink to stamp them out. And don't worry, I'm not going to make you sit here and watch me spell out everything. I just do the happy, and then I'll move on to the next step. But this banner, I believe, is from Simon Says Stamp, and I cut it out of black cardstock. So once I'm done stamping that entire sentiment out, I'm going to get my gel pen, back out my white gel pen, and I am going to create dash lines all around each segment of the banner. Oh, and again, I won't make you watch all of this. I just do the first one on camera, and then I will show you how it turned out at the very end. So just finishing up those dash lines, and then there's the entire sentiment. Now we're going to stamp out the sentiment on the inside, and this is from MFT's Sassy Birthday Greetings. I used that same white pigment ink to ink up the sentiment, and it says, "Looking good, birthday girl." Something about your age. I can't remember. It says, "Looking good, birthday girl. considering your age and everything. So super cute. Even though Tara is younger than me, I just thought that was a cute sentiment. So that is a little bit smaller than the inside of the card. Now we're going to glue the banner on with that same Be Creative glue. Like I said, I'm really, really loving that glue now. And same thing as the image that I stamped on, or color put on there before. I didn't put any foam tape on it because the layers aren't that big of a difference. There's not enough. And I'm straightening it out because I can never put anything onto a card very straight. I'm using my bone folder to press that down and then making sure that it shakes before I glue everything together. More of the Be Creative glue on the back of it, and then that will go to the card base. And I believe this is a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch card. Yes, it's a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch card. If I had to do this over again, I probably would have done a black frame around it, but I didn't think about doing that. And it probably was more bulk that would add to the weight of the card. I'm using that glue again to glue the inside together. And that is the card. So you're going to see an up close picture of it, and then you're going to see it shaking, and that's it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you learned something from it. If you have comments or questions, please feel free to leave them below, and I will see you guys again real soon for another video.